Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. We are finally going to start this Christmas or winter, as I'm going to make it, hot air balloon in Magical Worlds. I am using the Brutfuner 520. I will tell you, once I started pulling the 520s after I thought the Pablos were winning, and then the next day they weren't, we're going with the Brutfuners. So I've picked out a bunch of colors. I liked the challenge last time with the 520s of trying to find colors that do not have sharpened tips. So I've picked a sky color, a night sky. I am going to attempt all cool tones except the browns that I will put. Browns will be at the bottom. There will be some gold, and the very top of this hot air balloon actually looks like almost, I don't know, some sort of a hanging thing. So I'll make that gold. And then I will be also doing yellow for the moon and the stars. So the night sky is going to be a very dark color. It is called, it was in my hand just a moment ago. Here it is. Astral Aura 431. So this particular set has a lovely naming convention that somebody came up with. So I will definitely be pointing out these crazy names. 431 is the number. The numbers go from 1 to 520 in color family order. So if I show you my swatch, which I did get this swatch online, and I will make sure I put the source for the swatch. It is 10 sheets. I have sized it to be with the same size of half sheets that I use for the hole punched swatches. Only I went with this much smaller version of the Bruno's Art Gallery. That's who it was. So we have this section of very darks, starting with this Astral Aura, which is the one I chose. But look at how many blacks there are, and they are very slight variations. I guess I would call them very dark grays. We do have the Black Beauty, which is a bright black, and then Pirate Black is kind of a flat black, almost gray. And then we have like a Black Berry. That is a brown black. And then up here we have where I pulled the Astral Aura as just a very dark purple blue. So again, I pulled these pencils as much as I could. You can tell that I've used this just a tiny bit. That means I probably swatched it once or twice. And then I did want to point out that this set does have a white pre-coat underneath the color of the barrel. And the barrel colors are not the best. So you do have to definitely, if you're not a swatcher, you absolutely have to run some samples to make sure that the color matches. You can't trust the barrel. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I am actually hiding down in the my craft space. It is pretty late on a Friday night. I hope I even can get this posted by midnight. But I know midnight my time, in the US anyways, I am the latest time zone. So I'm just going to get it done as I have time. What I want to do this time with these stars is have some of the yellow glowing around. So I'm being very soft, probably not even soft enough. I'm anticipating that these will work as a lovely light layering pencil, just like they work in the Small Victories. I suspect this will take 2 to 3 times. I don't want to be in a big hurry. I know that these pencils require light layers, so it will take a little bit to build my colors up. I have used these already. I used them on the hummingbird. And with my mom's 4 that she selected, there is one more left, and that's the turtle with a castle on it. And we will get to that after I finish this winter image, which I really wanted to get finished. I did do a shorter video yesterday, kind of talking about my progress, talked a little bit about my kitten, the kitten named Lucky, who is very darling and is like a little old man cat in a teeny tiny body. He's very, 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 he's playful, but he's very regimented in his, like, he wakes up, he might race around a little bit and play, and he very much loves people, so his playing, though he can play by himself, he really wants to interact with people, and then he will stop everything he's doing and go use his bathroom, do his business there. He will go buy his food and his water. It's kind of like he's an OCD, and he will look at the food and he will look at the water. He will come back and play because, he just woke up, so he needs to play. And then at some point, he will break off of playing and go have a little water. He likes to drink liquids, so that's great. And he will do liquids because he only eats, he's free eating as much dry food as he wants. And then I've just started him on a little bit of wet to supplement the dry, just a tiny bit. He's so tiny, you guys. He's just like this little miniature cat. I wanted a small cat. But our previous cat was a Maine Coon, and when we got him, he was already, like, huge. He was like a 6-month-old kitten with an 8-week-old mind, and was much more mellow. This guy has more spurts of energy, very loving, very kind. He and Hub are bonding right now. So I'm having to talk a little bit about the experience. This is the back of this book. I am not experienced with coloring in a full-size book, and I'm at the back of it, which makes it even more of a challenge to hold it in place. And so I'm in the zero grav chair. I have a pillow and a seat cushion that I use to color on. I'm not sitting back, and I could adjust a little bit, but I don't think I want to because I'm having a hard time holding the book as it is. So I am just going to press on with what I have. We'll see how far we can get today. So again, my challenge to myself was trying to pick as much as I could colors that I don't already use a ton. And I want to do a color combo sheet. I was playing with the Pablo color combos. That's what I was doing yesterday, was my just a few color combos in a chat. And then I shared my winter projects that I have made a lot of progress on, my realism ones, going through a live draw with Bonnie Snowden. So I'm very happy with the progress that I made. Now, those were all done before the kitten. And so life is very different with the kitten. He's young, he's new. We talk to him a lot because we're familiarizing him, with our voices. So I had to close the blast doors, which I closed, and those are my sliders that separate this room that I craft in. Originally was a screen room set up to be an outdoor screened in room, and then it was, even from the builder, they finished it, but left the triple slider in. And most of these homes do have the slider still in it, where my mom's home does not have the slider in it. It is finished with a nice arched doorway, and then they have barn doors to close it off. Very different house from ours, even though the shape is the same. It's still crazy how different they are on the inside. So anyhow, I have closed this off, and I tested it yesterday with him, and he just ran. He ran toward me and ran right into the door. So I have put painter's tape on the windows, and it will be a bit of a concern because he won't know when they're open or closed. So I will probably leave the painter's tape, and since he is so tiny, the painter's tape is set very low on the glass for him to see that there is a barricade there. So I hope he figures it out. And I'm trying not to. I came down here when he wasn't looking so that he wouldn't be wanting to come to me, because I'm working on recall with him and he's doing fantastic. But of course, that backfires when now he's kind of my shadow. So Hub is up there bonding with him. I'm sleeping. I think he sleeps about 5 hours. I'm hoping tonight we're going to change things up. And I am going to have him be in the room. I have set up a bed with a little heating pad under it to keep him warm. We are in Florida, but our temperatures are quite cold. And he does love to be warm. So I'm hoping that I can cuddle with him some in bed, which we've been doing every day. And then I will, when he just falls asleep, I'm just going to put him over next to me in his little bed. But he's, like I said, he's like a little old man cat, and he puts himself to bed when he's done playing for his hour, and he's done eating and drinking and doing all of the kitten things that he's programmed to do. He will just put himself to bed 5 times a day, and his bedding area was in the living room, and so he will just totally go to sleep while we're there living our lives, and he just is totally out for 3 hours. It is the cutest thing. And I have read, and I know you're not supposed to bother a kitten when they're sleeping. They sleep 18 to 20 hours a day when they're his age, and that's just the way they are. And then they get up and they have their little spurt and they do their zoomies and play, and then they go back to sleep again. It's just the cutest thing. I have missed a kitten. I am so glad Hub decided that I could, and it's kind of like my kitten, our previous, aside from when we got married, and my cat Amadeus, which was a flame point Siamese. He came with me into the marriage, so he was already a grown-up cat. Hub was not necessarily fond of him. The cat was, very attached to me, a very well-behaved cat, very independent. It was back in the day when cats went outside, and I moved 6 times. And he moved with me and went outside at every place, and I never worried, and it was all good. So that's going to be Sky. That's going to be Sky. I've got these outside edges nice and dark. Nice and dark. I'm going pretty faint around the stars. So I'm going to darken even more. This one area right here I went too dark. Pressure, you do need to keep consistent pressure with these. Though I think they are still pretty forgiving, like I should be able to, though I don't know because there's 2 stars here so close together. I'm going to experiment with these stars now before I move on, with mixing this yellow. It's kind of a lemony yellow. very soft here. And then that one, that right there, my pressure wasn't good. Going in here with my second layer, getting nice and dark. So kitten parenting is great fun, very satisfying. He is so darn cute. We had the recliners tipped up, but we know him well enough now that they climb into the recliner. He climbs into and crawls into the teeniest, tiniest places. And I've noticed now 3 days later that he is not going readily into these teeny tiny places. Like, he's explored them, they're boring. He's not feeling like he has to like hide from us or like make himself invisible. He's happy to just be out and about in his little tiny form in the middle of the living room without any fear. And so he doesn't quite make the big moves to go hide anymore, but he can still fit into really small spaces. So we had the recliners upside down or sideways, kind of like a cat fort around the sofa, and he loved it. And we put it back together because we wanted to watch a show tonight, which of course means we want to sit in our recliners. So we did, and he was really good. And then we just have to make sure before we close them up that we know where he is, till he's big enough that he doesn't get into trouble and go into the recliners when we're not looking. It's funny because I just don't remember with Blue, and then the big cat, the Maine Coon, was Leonidas, and I don't remember having any issues of worrying about them climbing into our recliners because we had 2 recliners back then as well. So I'm going to stop because I want to experiment. I'm probably going to take my eraser that I have nearby, and I want to soften. Well, first off, that was too dark right there. That's too dark right there. But I want to soften even more. I tell you guys, after so many years of marker coloring, I absolutely love, and the novelty of being able to erase as much as I can erase with pencils, it has not faded. And I have my brush here. So you're probably seeing, I should show you, the gap here is about at least 1/4 of an inch. So I do hope we are not having focus issues. It's not something I can tell readily. And of course, once I color, I've colored. So, and most of my coloring is all real time. So I always dislike when things come out not focused. Let's see what happens here. Our yellow is a lemony yellow. Oh, lime light, number 10. And it is virtually unsharpened, and I am sharpening it now. I left a few of them unsharpened to show you guys what they look like. So there's what the point is. And I'm going outside the lines. So the only thing I don't like, you can see if you look carefully, the Prismacolors do this. The black is getting a little faded because of me putting the yellow. I may take a multi-liner. I have a Sharpie black fine liner. I have Copics fine liners, and I will probably try to go in and darken those lines back up. I just don't like it when they look faded. All right, so there's a nice yellow. I do have a purple, light purple, that I can come in here and try to blend it out a little bit more naturally. This is actually a house color. But it's a nice blend with this. So my main color scheme is blue, purple, green. I'm usually more of a full color meal deal, so I just thought it would be fun to restrict myself to a cold, wintry palette. Okay. And these two, I am not sure if it will make a difference, so I am not going to go outside the lines. I don't want to do it different, so I'm going to continue on now. I will at least do to the middle of the house before I move on to some green. So I'm going to work on the left side. The one thing I am not sure of is one part of the green, and we will talk about that when I hit that part. All right, so we want to make sure that we've got these darks. So though this is a very smooth paper, you can see the tooth. Just the way these pencils work, they show the tooth. You have to do quite a bit of extra work to hide that tooth. They also have a little resist along the black lines, the printed lines. So you have to kind of get into the corners and really work at it. I would not call these a very speedy pencil at all. I think the squares are a little bit faster than these, so I don't know if the the formula is any different. I'm sure they're made in the same factory, but the numbers don't match. So I will do a bonus episode. I'll try to get this posted tonight before midnight. See, there's a little resist there. I'll do a little erasing on that leaf. I went over the line. And then I am going to darken up this. By the house in between here should be super dark. I hesitate to go with too heavy of pressure too soon. Then it is harder. The erasing is not quite as magical. That is like one of the benefits of the light layering technique, is that you can make adjustments and erase even better if you don't go full-on dark pressure. Now, I also want to do something a little different for me. So I am lightening that up, and a little bit of this up. And we will talk about what my plan is. Okay. I have light sources very close to these trees in theory. So I'm going to keep the background not as dark, right around the areas where the stars are on those trees, on any of the trees. These have a unique feeling that is one of it's one of the pencils that doesn't feel buttery, doesn't feel silky, doesn't feel dry. It's kind of a combo feel. So I was just mocking up the Pablos 2 nights ago because I thought those were the winners, and they are very dry. They are really wonderful to work with, especially certain colors, because that dry property that it has makes it a really nice layering blending pencil with the polychromos. But as a rule, and I've had some really good luck with them in these books, very fantastic results, but I think this set is still a little easier to use overall. I am using circles, little circles, and to be consistent, I am going to first layer this color. I'm going to erase a little bit of this color and then go with a light layer of the light purple after I put the yellow. I want to keep the layering layers order the same, if that makes any sense. I also should be rotating my pencil, which means I will get some sharper. See, so I just rotated it, and that's a sharper edge. So up here, I've got these stars really close to the house. And that will be significant when I color like this little chimney top. It looks like a Dr. Seuss chimney top. It's very cute. I like it a lot when she does that. But over here, we're a little bit farther away. So I'm going to let that get darker. All right, now around the edge, I am coloring with my hand way far away from the tip. Keep my pressure light. I could change my angle here if I wanted. Again, we're not flat against my surface. I'm not clipping the book down for this. I could use some added clips, but then it starts bending the book, and I haven't really enjoyed coloring that way. This is a little bit better for my style. So I can let this get pretty dark right in here, the very edge. Then we're getting close to the the moon and this star. Oh, it's so quiet and peaceful down here. Okay, so I'm liking that so far. Grabbing my eraser to do the same attempt at a glow. That is super close, so let's lighten this all up. I love it. Okay, I've got my brush, and that is lovely. Gonna grab my yellow. I can change the angle for you guys there, so I'm left-handed, so I color very crooked, though I do try to have you guys see it as straight. All right, so we have a little bit of the purple down. I erased most of it, but not all of it. And now I'm doing little light yellow swirling all the way around to get my glow. I'm going to do that for the moon as well. I don't think I have ever tried a glow. Okay, and now I have to grab the purple. Again, this is one, I haven't even shared it with you, Violet Tulip 403, and it is one of the house colors. But it is a nice lighter tone to this very dark purple. All right, so I'm liking what things are looking like. that's coming out good. I'm going to go ahead and use this. For the kind of that middle tone here. That's looking wonderful. The sky is what always takes me the longest. Sky, background, if I'm doing the whole area. All right, so I will be doing the other half of the sky. I will do that as homework. I am no longer doing the weekly review. It's now a monthly, similar to my month's completed pages. So what I will do when I finish this page, if I'm not caught up, when I do the second and third, if it takes 3 sittings to get finished, at least my half of it that I'm sharing with you, I will certainly bring it on as a beginning of the next episode that I do finish it, even if I've moved on. Okay, so I want to move on to the green. For the evergreen trees, I have 4 greens. These greens, I was more limited on my color choices, so I have 3 of the 4 have been sharpened. And one in the middle here. This is where the barrels are awfully dark. Parasailing right here, which is 191, looks to be almost as dark as the deep teal. But that is not actually the case, as you will see. And then we have Aruba Blue, 181, Columbia 184, Parasailing 191, and Deep Teal 189. So what I am going to do, because I want to block out the areas that are going to be very light and probably have some glow from the stars and the moon. So those 3 tips are going to be my kind of the light source. And then we're going to start darkening. I really like this image. It's nice and cute and whimsical. All right, so that I'm holding all 4 pencils in my right hand. And this is back to the lightest tone. I need to go all the way down to that star. Get some layers on that second color, which is called Columbia. Okay, now we're going to get really dark. We are jumping to Parasailing 191. I don't know if I logged 191. No, I do not. I need to sharpen it. All right. And so here is my theory. There's a tree in the front and a tree in the back, and I want the tree behind to be even darker. But I still am going to use the darker color on both the front tree and the tree behind. I'm kind of going over and over, smoothing out these lines, getting all my layers of this color, because I still have one more color darker I want to go. This is all going to be very dark, so I'm not even going to finish that. I don't want to go long, so I think I'm going to make sure I get to the darkest color. So block that in so you guys can see it. And the darkest color is again the deep teal 189. Alright, so this underneath here is going to be, look at how close my hand is now to the tip. And I could even go and look through the different grays and the blacks for a very dark teal. So I might do that. Okay, so this right here, like this would be lovely in an almost black. So I might do that. So we get the contrast we need. Same with this block right here. But yeah, this is all this right here under this tree. Dark, dark, dark. And I think I'm going to call it, not wanting to rush this lovely winter image. Again, this is episode 344. I don't even know if I got the episode number right. So, 344. We're off to a lovely start. These pencils are great. They're a little on the slow side to get the tooth filled in and get your vibrancy going to the full depth of what they can do there. But if you have patience, they have a lovely feel to them. And I will be pulling a darker teal for this area here, a little glow behind, a dark shadow, not a glow, and all of this has to be really dark. And then I will work on the front tree. I might do the dark points with you tomorrow before moving on to the blue. All right, so do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for visiting me today, and welcome back if you are returning. And I hope to see you all tomorrow.